signs today after the House Republican Conference met up on Capitol Hill was that Kevin McCarthy is still on path to become the next Speaker of the House should, as expected, the Republicans win a majority of the House of Representatives. Now, we should caution, of course, it's April. There are a lifetime of things that can happen between now and when that Speaker election will take place. Now, here's what is amazing is that all the sort of reaction we heard out of the meeting today was that McCarthy seems to have done his work behind the scenes
Starr Avenue.
with really aligning himself with some of the, real MAGA enthusiasts inside his conference enough that
Came back alert.
they're not throwing darts at him for the most part. Now, it was a little dicey for McCarthy because remember, he just had that whole episode last week where he lied about what he had actually said about the fact that he was going to call Trump and urge him to resign.
Yeah.
He said none of that was true, and then the audio tapes came out and proved it was totally true. So he was lying about
Toledo.
his denial that had happened. But the Trump stuff actually was never the most dangerous or tricky stuff for McCarthy. Certainly, he needed Trump not to erupt and keep everyone together, but that seems to have happened. They've talked several times, McCarthy and Trump since then. But what we learned yesterday was we got more audio tape of a different piece of that initial report by Jonathan Martin and Alex Burns in the New York Times. In this part of their reporting that you're now going to hear several chunks of, this is Kevin McCarthy not saying things about Donald Trump. This is Kevin McCarthy taking on members of his own conference. This is the leader of House Republicans singling out by name specific House Republicans that he thought in the immediate aftermath of January 6th were behaving badly. Now, just like he went down to Mar-a-Lago and kissed the ring of Donald Trump, Kevin McCarthy also clearly chose a path with these folks like Matt Gaetz, the congressman from Florida, or Marjorie Taylor Greene from Georgia. But what he hasn't done is successfully gotten them to stop some of their most heated, charged rhetoric, sometimes hate-filled rhetoric. So what we see here is, again, Kevin McCarthy, in those days immediately following the insurrection, was in a very different place than he ended up being for the last year or so. He was in a place of, we got to rid the party of Trump, and I got to get these staunch Trump allies in my conference in the House in line in some way. On January 10th, 2021, he was speaking about this very dynamic with some of his fellow Republican leaders. Listen to this.